incredible Alfredo Silva. Good to see you,
We
my
need
friend.
we need a less introduction. Hey man, great to see you again.
You
You
too.
know, it's been a long time
Yes.
since we've been each other and we've been everywhere. You know, I've been busy, you've been busy, so it's great to talk to you for sure.
Yeah, man. Look, you've done so well since I saw you here, like 2003, 2016, when I was in Vegas. I saw you for a little bit there. Since then, you've just taken off to the stars. And this is why I
Wow.
created this show, to be able to talk with people like you, just to get inspiration of how you done it, and what it took you to become and you're still going for the stars. So I had a couple of questions. I had to write them down because there's so many, there's so much about you, and I
All
don't even
right.
know where to start with you.
Just shoot them and I'll answer as real as I can, I promise.
All right, well, let's take it back a little bit. What was it like growing up in a sixth generation circus family for you?
You know, the same like for you is the way you eat, the way you support your family. There is no excuses, waking up, going to school, coming back, training, helping with the circus, selling popcorn, being involved in learning the circus business, the entertainment business from top to bottom, and of course I had to be a performer, but we just didn't know what kind, that's why I tried different modalities like juggling, trapeze, globe of death, clowning. I work with lions and, everything, and I always, for some reason, thought that the dangerous acts had more applause. People recognize more, they appreciate more when you risk
Yes.
it. So I stayed on that side, I fell in love with the globe of death, third generation globe rider. My grandfather was the first one, my father, and then me. And that's how I grew up, as a little kid, being a third generation globe rider. I had to represent the Silva name.
But what you've done is pretty intense. That globe riding's pretty crazy. But what made you switch gears into knife throwing and crossbows? How did you change that
Honestly,
around?
money. Money talks, BS walk. Look, man, I was working for a group. It's four, five, six guys. The boss get paid, and then he split the money between the riders. Plus, it was not very profitable. I was like, look, I love what I do. I was good in what I did, and I needed to, somehow break that pattern, that cycle, and I say, okay, what can I do that's not too many out there and different, and I already know what to do. So I thought knife throwing.
Mm.
I learned knife throwing when I was 12 years old. I did for fun because I hated the act, man. It was one of those acts I hated. Cowboy, Indian, no production, a huge board. The knife was like this far away from the person. It was ridiculous. I hated knife throwing with all my guts, And then I say, all right, I used to do lasso, right? The lasso and the whip. Say, I'm going to
Yeah.
put the whip, knife, axis, crossbow all together, and I'm going to reinvent the act. And I think that's what I did because I didn't create knife throwing or whatever. It's been going for over 2,000 years. But I did reinvent it with my way, my vision, my style, counting eights, like dancing, and boom, it was a great success. I can't believe it.
Wow, man. No, but you've taken off from hating something so much to getting bronze medal at Monte Carlo. Then you've got what else? A Guinness record, doing
Look
all
at
the
this guy. Look at
festivals,
this
and
guy.
that's a dream right there, my friend.
This is something that man, people don't realize that the circus don't have the support, like acting, and this is the Oscar.
Of
It's the
course,
Oscar.
it's
People don't realize that.
the biggest thing you can achieve in the
You can
circus.
go any bigger, and in 45 years of the Monte Carlo Festival, never ever a knife throwing have won any prizes. For me to come there, I was speechless. I couldn't believe, because I had some amazing moments in my life. I won $500,000 on America's Got Talent with the motorcycle act. I won the whole prize. It was wow. I had a golden buzzer from Heidi Klum and Terry Crews. It was wow. But dude, having a standing ovation from the royal family and all the audience from the Monte Carlo, that made I don't have hair in my arms, but it made my hair goes boom. That feeling, I'm telling you, I can't describe. It's something, wow. It's really, it's like a drug because it's not just people watching you. It's the best people that know about the business. It was crazy, especially because I think I was act number 6 or 7 in the program. I think it was program A, and I was the first standing ovation of the whole festival. That for me, bro, oof, I was so proud, and I really wanted to cry because I realized that I made it, you know?
Yeah, and that was sort of my next question. It's from being a kid in the circus, running around in the dirt. No, I was the same, and practicing and learning, and getting our bums kicked to do this, to do that. To becoming what you've become is astonishing. It's everyone's dream in the entertainment industry. Not just circus, in everything. When you've proven that dreams can come true.
Look, I'm gonna be honest with you. People talk, "Oh, you lucky, dude." If you're working hard, devote yourself, take care of your body, playing. If this is lucky, then I'm lucky because I've done all those things. I work hard. I devoted. I believe that if you're consumed by something like 24 hours of the day, you can't stop thinking about this. It's like you're a madman. That's how I was with this act at the beginning. People didn't believe me, and I don't blame them for not believing me because knife throwing never was a good acting anywhere in the planet. There was no wow, knife throwing is the headliners. That never. So I don't blame them for not believing me, but I had a vision, man. I saw these things, and when I start, and that's why I have Australia right here. Very close to me because that's where I create this act. This act I created during the tour with the Moscow Circus in Australia, and I knew I would be one of the best in this discipline. I knew it since the first day I start practicing. I had no doubt.
Yeah, well, you've definitely proven it, man. You've got what was the Guinness record for? What did you do?
So for the Guinness record, I did with my wife. It was February 2024. I had two or three different records, and together with the production, they chose me to do this one. Is a rotating board, vertical, with two partners, one in each side, and I had to throw the most knives in 1 minute.
Wow.
And I did 41 or 42. Hold on, I have 41 knives because sometimes they collide with each other and they drop. Those doesn't count. I was a little bit disappointed. The rehearsal I was able to do 47, but when you're there, the lights on. I never practiced for this record. To be honest with you, I had a couple of goes on the rehearsal studio, and okay, I had my wife as my partner. Then I had Andreina Tony, a different partner that I never worked with her. So it was not really the way I would like to do it. But I'm this kind of guy that I would never say no. I would
Yeah,
do it regardless. And we managed. We managed to do it. So yeah, look, I have it right here, the medal,
that's fantastic, man.
and my beautiful wife is bringing me the certificate. You see? So these things, man, these things, like I say, they were not planned. One thing leads to the other, and your name is exposed to some kind of people, and like that's what I heard when they talk about knife throwing. Alfredo, deadly games. I'm like, the guy that they come to. So when things like this comes up and ideas and records and gigs and events, they think about me because they already know the level that we like to perform, and things kind of attract each other. So once you get to a certain level, it makes it easy because you don't chase anymore. People know who you are, and the phone rings, and that's what happens. I did America's Got Talent. I'm sure you're gonna ask about this. I was in Taboo in Macau with Franco Dragon. They invite me to do America's Got Talent, and I didn't want to do it at the beginning. I was like, wow, what if one of the judges says something bad about my act? I'm already in a good level. I cannot afford to have bad reviews, stuff like that. And then I decided to do it, right? And then I did it the first time, season 11, 2016. And I'm not gonna lie, we pre-recorded this. Whenever they show my audition on TV, 20 minutes later, my phone ring, already a job.
It's amazing.
The exposure that internet, man, social media, TV, that's what circus people don't understand now. More they are understanding more. They want to get paid to do these shows because we work for money. I understand, but you have to see it as an investment. I'm investing my time. I'm not making money now, but I will make money afterwards. And that's my business mentality that I think I have better than the other performers, old performers like myself, traditional, is they only want to perform for the money, for the coin, the money, how much you pay. You know how much it costs to have a video on YouTube like that? Hundreds of thousands of dollars, and
Yeah,
I
of
cannot
course.
afford to have this video. So what I do, I performed for free, because they don't pay you to do AGT. This video provided me so much money. I
Well, you
lost
ended up
money
with the
there, not
bloody
making money,
ended
but
up with the golden buzzer twice. You ended up the first time, Haley Klum, isn't
two
it?
times,
And then a
they,
Terry
they they
Crews.
like that so much. Look, they like that so much. On the first season, I got to the semifinals only. I did 4 performances. They called me back to American Got Talent, the champions, which was 50 best acts coming back again, and I got the golden buzzer from Heidi Klum, and I went to the finals. That was already, amazing. And then when they called me back with the motorcycle act in 2022, I got another golden buzzer. So this is Heidi Klum's golden buzzer right here. See?
That's so good.
And this is Terry Crews. So Terry gave me the golden buzzer with the bike, and made me more special because the bike is what first I start doing, representing
Yeah,
my grandfather. So it was very emotional for me because my grandfather died in 2002 when I left to Europe for the first time, and he didn't get to see none of my stuff. All the things I achieved. It was, I'm sure he saw from up there somewhere, but he was not present in my life. So he had a special taste. Being on AGT really did change my life. It doesn't work for everybody. I know a lot of friends, they done AGT, they didn't get anything, nothing comes out of it. But for me and my brother did the season on 2020 during COVID. It really changed our life. If you go there and devote yourself and show your craft, you get recognized. And yeah, I can tell you, it was the best choice of my life saying yes to be part of AGT.
oh man, I watched you live. Well, live for us. And when I was looking at you,
I
and they
know. I,
they
I was
pushed the
surprised that
buzzer,
Australia I was watching. I
and
had
I
so
went like,
I
"This
had so
is
much message from Australian people. I was like, wow.
what the hell?" It's just insane. Because I don't know, you grow up with somebody, you work with somebody, and we all have the same struggles in the circus, and then all of a sudden, boom, you see, one of your friends doing something like that, and just go, wow, and just full support to you, man, full support. This is
Thank
why
you.
I'm doing
Thank you.
all of this, is because to talk with people like yourself, man, from the ground up, man. Hats off to you, honestly, honestly.
Look, man, I felt that I was representing the whole community of the circus. It was a lot of, oof, my shoulder was a lot of weight there because it was not just for me. It was for the Silva family, for traditional circus. Because look, man, we cannot compete against some acts on AGT. Little kids, singer, pub stories, dude, it's super hard. But I was able to represent all of us,
You
when
did,
I was in there, and
and you did
I
that.
I think I did a good job.
You did. It was amazing, mate. I have no words. I'm in the same sort of position. I look at you and I look at people like yourself. And like I said, I also grew up in the circus, and it's very hard for us. And when we actually get to a point that we've reached something like that, you know, there's nothing but respect. I pushed the limit in my day too, the best that I could do, the best that what I could do with the trapeze. I think I was okay back in my day, but I would have liked to have done more.
Dude, you were the first quadruple. I don't want to interrupt, but you were the first quadruple I watched live. It was like, goosebumps. I was just now in last year in Stuttgart with the Caballeros. And dude, every time they do the quadruple, I was there. I was like, and I remember watching you because I really wanted you to catch that thing. I was like, oh my God, that's gonna be so amazing when it happens. So I feel like we support each other.
Yes, that's right. And I mean, every way, we're all in the same, woven into the same sort of thing. We're all trying our best to do the best we can. And
Correct. Correct.
yeah,
You're
man,
right.
I have no words. You're an inspiration to so many in what you have done, and a lot of people
I hope I did inspire somebody because you know what? It's not impossible. It's not impossible.
you have, and then all my friends. I have a lot of people that knife throwers and things, and you are the target. And you should be so proud of yourself. And honestly, you are the one to beat, man. And it's must be such an amazing feeling. That what you have done.
You know what makes it more sweet? For example, I have to talk about this topic because it bothers me a lot. In the circus, unfortunately, and a lot of people's not gonna like, I'm gonna say that, but how can you master your skill, your act, your being,
Your art, yeah.
having to setting up the tent, turn down the tent, you driving the truck, you clean the toilets, it's almost impossible. You see all these gymnasts reaching this level. They don't touch anything. Everything is ready for them. They focus on their body. They focus on their health. They sleep well. I mean, we turn down the tent, we set up, we pack everything. It's 3 o'clock in the morning, and then 7 o'clock in the morning we're driving, and then we arrive there. We have to set up the tent again. How can a circus director or a company expecting you to be the master of your discipline when you don't have the time, the conditions? It's hard. It's
Difficult, yeah.
hard, And I did that. And when I left Australia, I think that was the last time I worked with the traditional circus, because after that was casinos, theaters, all that stuff where you have masseuse, you have a physio, you have all of these. The last show I did in Vegas at the Luxor, I didn't touch nothing. I got there, everything is ready for you, so you can focus on your skills in your body, in your health. The way you look is very important to take care of your body. So how you cannot be good?
Yeah.
If you're really lazy, man, you gotta be really lazy. You really have to be undisciplined. You have zero discipline not to be good when you devote yourself. And that's what I had, and that's why I believe my level went up so much, because I was focused on eating, training, improving my act. I had the money to try props, buy work, doesn't work, build. So on the real circus, it's hard, man. I really feel, it's
I
difficult,
know.
The tent, sometimes it's hot inside, like the summer, you're sweating, and then on the cold, you can't move your hands. So it's difficult for the traditional circus, much more.
Yeah, but that is why we are a different kind of breed. I truly believe we are one of the toughest, resilient breed in the world.
Crazy people.
From mud
Yeah.
to the heat, to hot, to cold, to everything, all the conditions that we go through. Outside might be 40, but inside may be 50. You know how many times I flew into the apron because
Right.
it's hot and crashed, and go and do it again and do it again. We are very, very
Right.
tough people.
Yeah.
Very tough people. Yeah. And I do believe,
Really tough.
some people have different chances and different directions in life. You know what I mean? So you take your art wherever it is that you want to take your art. Like you say, your imagination is as big as your will to go for it.
That's exactly right.
Pushing the boundaries,
That
pushing
is
the limits.
exactly right.
And
If you put
hunger.
you put limits for yourself,
And hunger. You have to be very hungry to achieve what you have done. You really push the hunger. You know what I mean? It's like you got to be hungry for something. You got to want something, and that's what I say for you. Was absolutely, you must have had a crazy hunger and want to do the things that you have done.
but I'm gonna tell you, man, this hunger, this discipline, this desire cost me on other parts of my life, private life, for example. You understand? People don't follow. They don't have the same pace. And I'm telling you, dude, if you knew where I'm going, you'd wake up earlier. You'd work harder. And they go, Fredo, you maniac, man. You only think about work. What's wrong with you? Stop it. I say, no, I want more. I was so hungry that I lost friends, I lost family, because they don't keep up with my vision and with my energy. You
I
understand? So
understand you. I understand.
life is not perfect on that sense. You understand?
Yeah.
Because listen, man, I'm telling you, if you knew where I'm going, you would be beside me or maybe in front of me, pushing. You understand? Because it was my vision. Unfortunately, it was nobody else's vision, so they didn't believe really. Unless I start to do things I did, and I start to make money, and I start to make a name, and I start to do the good shows. Then is not supporting, then it's taking a ride with me, because I want somebody that support me from the beginning, that believe me on my dream. So life is not perfect. I'm very successful, and I'm happy now. I'm married. I have a beautiful wife that's part of my act. I have a little dog. We are doing great, but to get here, to find that balance was very difficult.
I believe it. Believe it.
I still believe I'm too tough. I still believe when it's time to go, it's time to go, because here's what I believe, Carlo. If I'm not working, is somebody else working harder than me? You understand? When I'm not, for example, I'm not going to name anybody here. I'm just talking general. When I go on social media, you know what I see my circus friends doing? Posting, they're doing barbecue and drinking alcohol. 90% of the posts. 90. Nobody posts, I'm at the gym now. I'm training now. Look, I have a new trick. I'm taking care of my body. And then when you do that, people think, oh, he's arrogant. Look, he's posting all these crazy things. But you know, is
Yeah.
at the end of the day, it's about work,
Yeah.
and you have what you put in. You put 10%, you have 10%. You put 100, you have 100. And I feel bad for my friends. They're all out of shape. Look, man, I'm 43 years old. They're out of shape. They don't have conditions. They can barely survive, check paycheck to paycheck. But I believe they're comfortable on this life they have. And it's funny because I see a lot of motivational stories on Instagram or YouTube. Oh, you have to get out of your comfort zone. I say, dude, I've been trying to find the comfort zone since I was born. I've been living out of my comfort zone since I was born. I don't know what a comfort zone
I
is.
know
I'm
exactly
looking
how
for
you
it.
feel.
So you really, yeah, right? So you really, really have to put on the scale and say, do I really want this? Because it's hard if you do and it's hard if you don't. You're going to regret one way or the other. So,
But
it's
when
up to
so
everybody.
what for you? What is it that you would need to reach your comfort zone, so to speak? What
Look,
we're talking about to just say I want to get to here, or do you want to just keep grinding all the way?
I'm gonna tell you, and once again, I have to be honest. I don't think I'm gonna be able to make more money doing what I do. I've done the shows. I know what they are, the budgets are. I know. I already pass. I never dreamed that I was making so much money. I don't think I can performing. So my next goal is I want to start to get more involved, helping directing, helping producing, giving a little bit of the knowledge that I have, because I learned a lot with Franco Dragon. I think that's also something that helped me with my act. I did two creations with Franco Dragon. We became friends, he's an amazing person, visionary, and I was listening to him a lot. And I believe if I put my mind into it, I can maybe be an asset in that way. Not on the stage, but directing, performing behind the scenes. You know what I mean, right? Behind the scenes, give some kind of support. Because performing for me right now, look, I'm in South Carolina right now in USA, and we live in here. We do Christmas in Germany. We're gonna do the Flick Flack Nuremberg with Larissa casting, our good friend. And from there, we're gonna do 1 year at Moulin Rouge in Paris. So from January 2026
Wow,
to January 20. So for me, that was my dream, to be part of Moulin Rouge. I performed there twice already, and now we're gonna do 1 year there. So maybe after Moulin Rouge, I'm gonna start to move towards helping, behind the scene a little bit.
so good, man. And I wish you the best of luck. You have a vision, you have a dream,
I need it.
but yeah, man, that's unbelievable. And I do wish you the best. Moulin Rouge, that's another dream as well to be able to work there. You know.
Unfortunately for you, there is no aerial. It sucks because it's such a small venue, so intimate, and there is no hanging points. Maybe in the near future, but for now, there is impossible to have
Yeah.
aerial acts in there.
But I also transitioned. I changed from flying trapeze. I had to stop. I had my shoulder problems and I had my surgeries and my things. And me and my wife had a very good act. We put an aerial act together. We had our duo aerial straps and we traveled the whole world with that. We ended up working for Dolly Parton. We traveled all of Europe. All of the shows in Australia. We did a lot of things with it. Fantastic act. So yeah, like you said, you have to adapt
You have, you have to.
in changes. And but yeah, man. And another question, probably one of the last ones here, because
All right.
your life is so long, man, that I think I'm going to be here for like a 2-hour special.
Hey, we can do another one after a few months.
Yeah, it'd be great. Let's have a look. So, what do you hope that people remember you when they hear the name Alfredo Silva?
Wow.
In 20, 30 years,
You
40
talk
years?
you talk about a topic that for me is, once again, for other people is crazy, but for me is so important. It's about look at the name there, legacy.
That's what it's about.
Legacy, my friend, is all for me. For me, listen. Material things comes and go. You have a better year, a good year, a worse year. You buy the car, you buy the houses, you party, you have the watches, you have whatever. These people don't remember these things, but to be able to say deadly games, Alfredo Silva, what this guy, remember him from years ago on Monte Carlo. He was the one, the first knife throwing act to win something. Tina, he was silver. I have here American Circus Fest, gold prize, first prize, blah, blah, blah. This is what stays. And I took this from a movie, the Achilles,
Yeah, yeah.
when the little kid says, I don't want to fight this guy. He's huge. And he says, that's why nobody going to remember your name. And I done everything I done. Not for my ego, man, because look, who am I? I'm nobody, you know. Look, celebrities make millions of dollars. They're everywhere. I am nobody, and I know that. But on my little tiny world, I know I fit in. I know I did my part. I
You
contribute,
did.
and people will remember the Silva name for a long time. That's my goal, because honestly, whatever we do here, man, once you die, everything is gone. You know, we are the same. We go under the dirt, and you cannot take nothing with you, right? But make a legacy, and I love the name you give this, man. That's why I agreed to do this interview with you. Legacy is something that stays forever, you know, and hopefully we keep the circus alive. We keep the entertainment alive, because with all this technology, man, it's getting so much harder for us. You know, you go to the shopping mall, there is some kind of entertainment there. You turn on the TV, look, the Got Talent shows, there is amazing acts there. So people don't really want to come to the circus anymore. You understand? Circus
Yeah.
is staying behind. They're not adapting like we just spoke about it, you know. They're not doing their job to keep up with the future. So I feel that we're gonna have a hard time. I think the circus performers right now should really work harder, much harder than they are right now, to keep the traditional circus alive, because it's not looking good.
Yeah, it's tough. It's very tough. And that's very true.
You
But,
know,
over here,
it's hard, it's tough for good artists, you know.
yeah, yeah. But, over here, it's still, there's a lot of shows. There's a lot of new shows opening, so if there's new shows opening, there's people going. That's what I believe. If shows weren't opening, then I don't think it would be working. Everybody has their own sort of part in their sort
But
of,
Carlo, the circus need to understand that the internet opened doors to a lot of people to see circus now.
yeah,
So you cannot do any little shit on the stage now and pretend you have an act. The circus now have to think about it. Look, I need to improve my budget. I need to bring some quality acts here that people will pay the tickets to come to see it. They will travel few minutes, an hour to come
yeah,
see the show, because right now, that's how I feel about some circus in Europe, because Europe for me is still the best of the best. The artists, the quality there is so good. They really care about bringing the best acts. You know, they fly acts from America, from China, and the props. Look, the Chinese props cost $80,000 just to bring the props, plus 25 people, plane tickets, accommodation. They bring because they know people will pay to see a good show, right?
yes, it's
And I
100%.
feel that most circus, they just doing for the money. They doing for the money. They put, look, man, I'm sorry, I was a little kid on the stage, but they put kids on the stage that have no condition on being on the stage yet. They're not doing anything. But oh, it's because it's the circus has to understand that it's a business, and we have to have respect, the most respect, to the people that pay the ticket, coming to the circus, buy the popcorn, buy the drink, sometimes step on the mud, raining, the conditions are not great. We need to give them a good show. So hopefully from now on, the circus, the directors will kind of invest and better the budget so they can bring some good names out there. Because look, the movies, what they do, they bring the best stars to do the show, the movie. Maybe if they brought somebody else, the result would not be the same. But no, they want the best. So that's why we're going back to Europe this winter, because they want the best. And I hope Australian circus, Australia lives in my heart. I spent 7 years there. Do the same, start to invest in the acts. And I'm sure that if you have a good, strong show, people will come and they will pay, even if it's a little bit more expensive, they still pay, and they're going to have a good time with their families. I really believe that.
Yeah, for sure. No, you're right. You're 100% right. 100% right.
Sometimes I'm right, most of the times.
Well, you've done a lot, so you can speak your mind, and this is what I created, why I'm creating this show, is for people to be able to speak their mind, and people to take a little bit in, from each person that I talk to help the future generation, future directors, future artists, future dancers, future entertainers. So people have a channel to come and listen and learn something about one another.
100%.
And a place where
100%.
you can go back in 10, 15 years and look at yourself. You know what I mean? It's your legacy, you know, your kids, your kids' kids, you know, because YouTube's going to be around for a very long time, and it's a place where when I'm not even around, that I've left something for my son, so he can go back to and say, "That was my father. What the hell is he thinking, trying to create this thing?" You know what I mean?
Yeah, you think about
I
the
hope
next
by in 10
generation.
years
You're
that this
right.
actually worked, you know, but I really feel a lot of heart in this. And this is not just about some crazy ride and I woke up in the morning. It's something that I woke up and I felt I have to give something back. And I really, really want to listen to people's stories and their achievements, you know, because I also know the struggles that you go through to get
Right.
to a high level. I wasn't doing quadruple
You
somersaults
better than
by nothing.
nobody knows the struggles. Better than nobody.
So you know what I mean? And this is what it's all about. It's for friends to reconnect, to talk and talk about their achievements, you know, and upcoming people to talk about what they're achieving, you know, and what their goals are.
Look, let me tell you this. I watched your interview with Christian Christopher.
He's an amazing man, let me say
He,
to speak. He is
as a human being,
there is
dude,
not
as
there's
a
no one
human
better.
being,
He's an
one of
amazing
the
man.
best people I met. He was a very good help for me during the Monte Carlo. And listen, man, with the status that he has, he was operating the winch for me to do the upside down shot. I create this shot
Yeah.
where the person is upside down. Dude, he was helping me. It's not his job to do that. His job was to figure out the distance of the cable, you know, and all that. He was there for me every day operating the winch. You know, I love the guy. And I watched the interview with him. And I'm going to tell you, as a sixth generation circus performer, 43-year-old man, I learned a lot from that interview. Thank you. Thank you for doing this interview with him because his mind is brilliant. He speaks with such a easy. You know, I met his family. His wife is helping other artists creating amazing acts too. So I learned a lot from that interview. So I want to thank you to prove to
No.
you that your dream, your vision is working. At least you worked with me.
Well, his support towards me is amazing. And his support to a lot of people. You know, I speak to a lot of friends over there in Hungary, and he's always helping. He's always the first and open to help people. And I truly believe he's just an absolutely incredible human being. And it was my honor to be
And
able
you
to
know what?
talk with him.
You know what bothers me and bothers me a lot. I know that a lot of our people, even people we call friends, they spend hours scrolling on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and most people not even going to spend 30 minutes of their time watching this interview or the ones before. You know, it hurts me so bad because we're supposed to support each other. You know, like let's say you have a restaurant, right? The first thing I'll do is I'm going to stop eating there and I'm going to stop eating here at your restaurant and I'm going to pay full price to support you. But you know what people do? Hey, man, give me a discount. Give me for
Yes,
free. You
that's
know, people
right.
don't understand. Dude, I was talking about this with my wife, and she's like, "Wow, but you think very different." I say, "Yes, Jesus Christ, if he's my friend, why am I going to spend money over there? I'm going to spend money here.
To
I'm going to
help him
support
move
him."
forward.
Dude, I was on my dressing room. I was watching the interview with you and Christopher. Then I paused it. Then I did something else. Then I come back and I kept watching. You know, it's not hard, but unfortunately, our community is not really tight, you know, and I hope you make your dream come true. You have a beautiful dream. You have a beautiful vision. And I can tell you is exactly what my vision was talking to you. I hope we make it. I hope we can make this one of the biggest interview or podcast or whatever plans you have because we need to keep the circus life alive.
Thank you, Alfredo, man. You don't know how much it means to me that I have
No,
you on here and talking to me.
thank you, buddy.
Thank you for
Thank you, buddy.
believing in me. And
I do.
much respect to you, your wife, and your little dog. And I really hope the sky's the limit with you, my friend. And I do wish you the best, that you achieve every single thing you ever set out to do. You're an amazing man, you're an amazing performer, and a lot of people should be envious of your goals. You know, you are, in my eyes, one of the best people and the best performers I know that from this
Wow.
to this.
Wow.
And I really mean it. You've done really well, my friend.
Wow.
And
I feel very warm now.
I watch you all the time, man. I watch what you do. I follow what you do. See your knives. See you, not just you do your knives as a performer. When you're in there, you're in there. You know, you're an actor.
Right.
Academy Award, my friend.
Hey, to finish this, I always say the circus is the mother of all arts. Singing, dancing, acting, performing, trying not to kill yourself. all together. Man, we are blessed to have the life we have. God bless everybody. I'm so heartwarming to talk to you, and I hope this goes well. And if you want to do another interview, let me know.
Thank you, Alfredo.
Cheers.
All the
Have a
best
good
to
day,
you.
mate.
Good day.
Ozzy, Ozzy, Ozzy. Oi,
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 oi.
oi. Take care, my friend. Saludos.
Thank you.
Ciao.
Adios, muchacho. Wait, wait, wait. Adios, muchacho. Bloody awesome, mate. Bloody awesome. I had a great time.
Thanks, bro. I'll speak to you soon. Ciao, ciao.
Take care. Take care.